Welcome. This is an introduction to somatics. And I think of somatics as a big, beautiful oak tree with many, many branches and deep roots. And some of the branches that I know best is the work of Thomas Hanna in Hanna Somatic Education, the body of work that is called Body-Mind Centering, led by Bonnie Bainbridge-Cohen, and the yoga lineage of Donna Farley. And today I'd like to infuse our practice with a few somatic principles that might help you understand how to bridge maybe yoga with somatics or another movement practice with somatics. I've taken a chair, as you can see, and I'm sat on my chair so that I'm not leaning into the back of it and my feet can be really grounded on the floor. So I invite you to take a comfortable seated position to start this opening inquiry. And then take one hand and bring your fingers or a finger to the middle, the dome of the open hand. And start to gently furl and unfurl your fingers. So towards the center of the dome and away. And see if there is a rhythm of your breath that supports this furling, unfurling, moving towards the center and away. And you could imagine, if you like, that the middle of your hand, where your finger is your center of gravity. Your hara, your dantian, your second chakra, has many names. And that your fingers are your limbs. And as you reach the limbs away from center, how far do you go before you lose a sense of center? When is it that the fingers go into a sense of stretch that is maybe more propped or rigid? And when are they extended but connected to the center nonetheless? And then take the second hand into the movement, furling, unfurling, maybe inhaling as the palms open and exhaling as the palms close. And you might be able to see that my body is also naturally starting to mirror this movement. So pivoting on the sit bones, moving the body, the spine now more towards flexion and more towards extension. So flexion, the rounding phase, front bodies of the vertebra moving towards one another, and extension, the opening phase, front bodies moving away. And it can be quite nice to include the eyes, internal, external. Finding a rhythm where the whole body, right down to the feet, is involved in this simple movement. And then start to make the movement a little bit smaller in each direction. And find a place where you come to a pause in your midline. Somewhere in neutral, neither in flexion, neither in extension. Clear, solid, grounded, connected both to the earth and to space, with this conduit of the spine in the middle. Now, all of us have patterns of flexion, let's say a forward shoulders and a rounded head, or extension, as in a overly contracted lumbar spine. And those patterns make movement more difficult. So you can imagine if I have a pattern of deskitis, rounded shoulders, forward head, that a yoga back bend is going to be more challenging. And similarly, if I have a slight sway back, a slight hyperlordosis in my lumbar spine, doing something as simple as folding into child is also going to be restricted. So one of the things that we do in somatics is we figure out where are these patterns in the body. How can we lengthen and release and realign the structure from a whole-bodied perspective? And that is one of the things that makes it different. We see the whole body as a pattern. So flexion, extension are two of our kind of fundamental movements. If you take the hands now into a kind of karate chop position and take them side to side and mirror that with your body, now we're into the lateral plane of the fish, our aquatic ancestry. And with this lateral flexion comes a little bit of rotation, even though it feels like pure lateral flexion. There is some rotation. And then the last movement that we all move through is pure rotation. So try that on for size a few times, turning as if you were reversing in your car. See how your rotation is. And along with patterns of flexion, which Thomas Hanna called red light, and patterns of extension, which Tom called green light, we all have patterns, subtle, discrete patterns of side bending and rotation. It may be that I sit with my right leg crossed over my left, and that over time creates a subtle hitch in the hips. Or I always carry my bag on one shoulder. That may create a subtle hitch in the shoulder. And these minor scoliosis patterns are in all of us. They're really normal. Again, when we think of doing Trikonasana, Parsvakonasana, gateway pose, any of the Marichis, anything that is either a side bend or a twist, that gets more difficult if we have predisposed patterns or inclinations in our body, and we all do. So what we don't want to do is make the patterns wrong. They are part of being right-handed or left-footed. They're part of how we use our bodies. What it is useful to do is to consider that we might realign, release, bring the body into balance before we take it into movement that is more challenging. And that, for me, is the beauty of what a somatic practice does. So I hope that's enough information to provoke your curiosity. Come along for the ride. It's a great journey. See you on the mat.